Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Recording in progress.
Alhamdulillah. Let me check. Should I present in English or Indonesian?
English, please.
English, okay. Thank you. Okay, good morning, everybody, respected colleagues, students, and also audiences today. I'm really sorry that for delay starting time, because I thought that there will be a friend who will open this lecture. However, I will start my today lecture. It's really about the sharing experience and new insight. Sometimes also a discussion topic that we can discuss today. Thank you for the committee, and let me use the time, maybe about 30 minutes, more or less. And after that, let's discuss and give your opinion about my material today. First of all, I hope that I can share the PowerPoint for all of you. Okay, is it already displayed? Please respond me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Bu Nani. Okay, first of all, thank you for your attendance, for your participation in this meeting. I'm sure that we are here to discuss scientific topics, and today my topic will be the tropical forests in terms of promising source of food and medicines. And my presentation, my material will be derived from our experience with our team. So that's why I really thank to them. And I will start the material today by sharing you about the statement from the doctor, a doctor named Paracelsus. He's a famous doctor lived in medieval times. And one of his books is on the Reformation. He stated that all grassland and forests, shrubs, large and small mountains are the world's major medicines. Medicines house. So that's mean actually seems that many plants, most of plant in the forest, especially also in our tropical forests, have possibilities to be used as medicine. The question is what medicine, how to use, who can use, and so on, the question. And based on this statement, I will divide my presentation, my material into several parts. The first, we'll be talking about how to collect the potential plants from the forest. And the second, our experience, our search for anti-candidal activity having plants from the forest. And the third will be to show our effort to search for anti-acne activity having plants. And the fourth, how to find natural medicines from plants. And the last one is forest as nutrition source. First of all, I would like to share you that if we talk about the plant from forest, and also based on the experience from local people, also the information that we collect from them, actually based on our tropical forest with about 110 million hectares, actually occupied by 18% of world medicinal plants. It means that from the total medicinal plants in the world, we have about 18% exist. From that number, about 28,000 plants and also 1,000 species that already known and already used for medicinal purposes. Instead of that, our plant resource also offers some uses. For example, food and feeds, pesticides, and natural poison. It's also common for people that use to collect fish, to hunt animal, and so on. And also one of the popular uses as cosmetics purposes. And also for the additive, it means once we use the plant for the preservative, for the flavor and so on, and also the spices of the plant, and the last one is healthcare treatment that we'll be discussing more today. So let's imagine that from several commodity plant, we have known several products that are commercially available. For example, from this famous fruits, manggis, Garcinia mangostana, that we can find several products exist today. And related with that, actually the story of medicine discovery, it's a long time. Start from how they found very famous medicinal drugs or medicine from the trees. Quinine is famous, we call pilkina, and very useful during the time that malaria is become endemic. And also several plants that also collected for their active compound, codeine from papaver, ephedrine, that's usually using for the cough medicine and so on. Now I'll enter the first part of this material presentation, that how to collecting the potential plants. First of all, usually we collect the plant from the ethnobotanical information. This is one of best way to find good plants, because we have about 28,000 species and we have to select them. So this is the first consideration. From this picture, you can see that one of local healer, our partner or friends also, that teach how to use the root from the forest plant and how to rub it and how to use them for our health. This, for example, the left one is like a root, and actually maybe famous now, this time with the Bajakah name. And they represent so many species of roots. And the left one is how to use plant, how to use water, how to use their derived product to our body. This is our students, maybe about 10 or 15 years ago, and they participated in our research, and they are in a good position now. They are a doctoral degree having person that's this time. And also continue with the learning with the community, discussing with them how to use, what's the name, and also on so many questions that discussed in that time. And also we are based on the collaborative work. For example, how to collect sample and also how to get data from the laboratory. The second one, sometimes animal behavior also interesting to give us information. For example, cat that use some plants. I think Bunani very famous with this. How to collect, how to get information from the animals. And also, for example, orangutan also, and some primates also use some wild plant to cure their disease, their maybe like to make the symptoms relief. For example, when they get the sting from the bee. And also some question is arrives actually, but this is very still like a very rough question. For example, how people use this leaf with the traditional purposes they use for treating liver diseases. Is the traditional uses of this plant related with the heart-like leaves for these shapes? That's also a question. And about the quiet bawang tiwai, one of the famous species also, the local people use for the purposes in stopping internal bleeding. And this question is traditional uses of people also related with the intense red color of the bulb. And the third one, we know about the akar kuning, akar ngelisia flava, that people use to treat the yellowing skin or jaundice as a symptom of liver disease. Is the traditional uses related with the intense yellow color? It's also unknown. Based on our collection, the collection in the forest, sometimes we got so many species and also so many parts of the species, and how to check the purposes of the plant. First of all, we check the plants, then also have candidal activity in the term of how to treat Candida albicans microorganisms. This microorganism is like fungus, considered of a major fungal pathogen of human. Usually they are found in our body as candidiasis, or maybe in Indonesia we call sariawan. And also this is very important drugs that usually we try to find. Based on the extract that we collect, we have several plants collected in West Kutai. And based on our collection, we check the extract of the plants, and we use Candida albicans species strains to check the activity, so that we can find which plant that have potential to be used as the anti-candidal drugs. This standard procedure, how to check the activity of the plants or plant extract to treat Candida albicans species. And usually we find activity by observing the inhibition zone surrounding the whole of the media. So based on the collection from about 21 plants, this was the thesis research from our student. From 21 plants, we can find that several species, for example, these two species, Triumpheta rhomboida and Bulimia semifera, that showed good activity. It means I will explain what the means of IZ, AA, inhibitory zone, and activity, antifungal activity. So it means that the bigger number of this data, the bigger inhibition of the plant extract to treat the Candida albicans. Based on this extract, this is the first extract, we found that these two species possess good activity. The second one extract, we found that Mallotus mollissimus and Stachycerpeta zamaicensis and Crodylin fruticosa, and also again Blumia balsamifera. The extract seems that have good activity to treat the antifungal activity against Candida albicans. And the third extract is the Vernonia arborea and Artocarpo atilis also show good activity. And I think this is Blumea balsamifera again, that also showing good activity for Candida. It means that the several plants that showing good activity against Candida albicans, it's interesting to be further investigated about the possibility to develop the extract for the anti-candidal drugs that maybe now also not easily available, but we can find that this fungal also famous to have pathogenicity for us. Interestingly that the plant that have activity also have several interesting activity based on the literature research. For example, Triumpheta rhomboida also have antioxidant and anti-cancer activity, and also Stachytarch beta jamaicensis have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory activity, and so on, and also Vernonia arborea and Blumea balsamifera. And our recent finding that based on this fungal test, we found also one of very widespread plant, Cormolina odorata, also has good activity against this microorganism, and this very easily available. It's actually belong to wheat that people want to remove them from their area. And furthermore, we also check the activity of plants for anti-acne. It means how to find the plants that have ability to treat acne disease by check the antibacterial against Propionibacterium acnes. We check the activity against this bacteria, Propionibacterium acnes. It is non-saprolating, gram-positive, and also it is known as bacteria causing the infection in our skin. And also some medicine also available this time with the advantage and also disadvantage of the uses of these plants. So it is interesting to find the natural anti-acne drugs, anti-acne medicines that we can use safely, and also we can find in a cheap way. So based on our information, based on the information of the local people, they have information how to use the plant to treat the skin infection or to use this skincare, traditional skincare, and how to make our face beauty. I think this is important for some people. And also with the same way we collect the plant, also we got several plants with also with ethnobotanical information, because we have focused on this information. For example, Ampellocissus cinnamonia with this activity, and also Clausen excavata with this activity, and so on. We found from about 11 samples this undergraduate thesis research about 6 years ago, and we found that from this plan we have several interesting information. From this table, you can find that several plants showing interesting activity. For example, Clausen excavata that people use to cure headaches called skin wound. And after we check the activity against anti-acne, we found that good activity against the bacteria. And it's interesting. So we check again the activity of this plant, what compound that also available inside of this plant. And you can see that from this picture, this we call agar diffusion test. So this white to yellow color represent the growth of bacteria, and you can see that the clear zone in the media, it was caused by the extract of the Clausen excavata, and the center is the standard antibiotic, and the surrounding clear zone caused by the extract of Clausen excavata. Again, based on our experience and also local information from the people, we check what compound that exists in the extract. So we can find that one of the antibacterial compounds exists in the plant extract. And after several chemical way, we find that a compound, and it means that not belongs to herbal agents, but belongs to chemical compounds that responsible for the anti-acne activity of the plants. And also we check the activity. The activity also interesting, how this compound from Clausen excavata inhibited the growth of Candida or Propionibacterium acnes activity. Based on the extract that we already seen from the previous slide, the question is what compound that responsible for the activity of the plant. So based on that, we search again from several plants. For example, it's one of undergraduate thesis research also. Several years ago, so we check this interesting plant to check the anti-dermatophyte activity, and also we check what compound exists in the site of this plant. After several chemical way, also we find that this plants contains several naphthoquinone compounds. It has a very strong activity against the bacteria, and also interestingly that this compound also check the activity. It was checked for the activity to treat our skin in the term of to make our skin brighter, or maybe we know several whitening agent, but came from commercial synthetic chemical, and our compounds was tested for this activity. Interestingly, that from this several concentration of the compound from Eleutherium americana or bawang tiwai, we can see that the activity is comparable, is quite good in comparison to this standard compounds. And this graph show us the activity of the compound against one kind of fungus that causing dermatophytosis in our skin. The previous result, we collect from several parts, several area surrounding West Kutai, and several also from Pasir Regency. And also at that time, we have also several research in the mangrove forest. As we know that mangrove in our country represent a big area of mangrove. In Indonesia, the mangrove area is about 38%, followed by Kalimantan and also Sumatra. And I should inform you that this quite old data, so it means maybe there's update the area of this mangrove forest or area, so you can inform us the number of the area. And also our mangrove offers several or many purposes, not only for medicine but also for the wildlife habitat, wildlife ecosystem, and also how to use so many products from this mangrove. So at that time, we checked one of the mangrove species. It is known as rambai sungai Alpidada, also Neratia cassiolaris. So after checking several activity, we try to check how the plant extract have activity to inhibit the enzyme. So in this time, in this part, we evaluated the activity of the plant to treat or to retard or to inhibit one of key enzyme called xanthine oxidase that also related with hyperuricemia. Hyperuricemia, usually we know as uric acid disease or asam urat, that causing by enzyme. So there is a key enzyme that related to uric acid disease. Xanthine oxidase, when in our body they have a very high concentration or abundance concentration, it will make or it will trigger the hyperuricemia. And why? That's why we try to find a plant that have ability to treat the disease. With the standard procedure of the enzyme inhibitory assay. So from this slide, we can find that the first, before the xanthine oxidase inhibitory activity, we check the antioxidant activity. For example, from this slide, from this graph, we can see that in comparison to the standard compound ascorbic acid, we found that the fruits and the twig and leaf extract possess interesting activity in comparison to ascorbic acid. And furthermore, in another antioxidant activity assay, this mechanism is called DPPH, radical scavenging activity. And the second one is the superoxide scavenging activity, so different free radicals. We found that several concentration showed comparable activity against the ascorbic acid. However, in the lower concentration, seems that the activity also become low. So related with the previous data, we check also the xanthine oxidase inhibitor activity of these extracts. So this graph displayed us the activity of fruit extract, the green one, and the twig extract, the blue one, as the leaf extract. And allopurinol is commercial anti-hyperuricemia drugs that we use as the positive control. Based on this graph, we can see that several concentration tested showing interesting activity. So from this data, it is interesting to get more information about the compound that exists in the extract. And in addition, also, we check several plants to have more activity in several microbial strains. So one of the interesting plant also, but it's not including in the mangrove plants. Based on this picture, you can see that from our anti-fungus activity assay, the white one is the fungus, and the clear zone was the inhibition activity from the extract. So that's from that data we can collect, we can conclude that this plant also very interesting. This is from the Soneratia cassiolaris, from the mangrove forest. From this part of data, we also found that the extract also interesting to have activity. As another part of the research, we check the several white fruit as nutrition source. So please imagine that we have so many variety of the fruits, but now we maybe easier to find the imported one rather than the white fruit. And it is also understandable because yeah, the availability of the wild fruit become very rare this time. In our country, based on the forest fruiting trees, we have about 266 species of native Indonesian fruits. And most of them still grow wild in the forest, and only small part has been cultivated. From that number, 226 of fruit species exists in the Kalimantan and can be eaten directly or need to be processing. Based on the number, the classification of the dominant plant families is Euphorbiaceae, Anacardiaceae, Moraceae, and Cruciaceae. Some of the fruits are displayed in this slide. I think that some of them we are familiar with them, but some of them seems that become unfamiliar, not familiar for us. And also the availability also become very difficult to find, especially not the season, under fruiting season. From the 20 species of fruit in Kalimantan, they were checking for the antioxidant properties, because antioxidants are one of the important parameters not only for the health, but also for the food purposes. So that's why we evaluated the antioxidant activity of these fruits. So one of our colleagues in laboratory checked this activity with two activity of antioxidant activity, several numbers showing interesting activity means the number showing the lower concentration that need to inhibit free radicals. From this data, we can see that, for example, Wanyi, Kalangkala, Ramania, and so on, and also Rambai, that possessing activity against free radical. And still so many species that you can find the result that also already published by Prof. Enos with the team from the laboratory that also collaborated with several partners to display us, to inform us the activity or the potential of the fruits as forest nutrition. One of the wild fruit that also tested for the activity is Rhodophytus tomentosa. And I think you are familiar with this one. It's a kind of caramunting, but different species. It's similar to Melastoma malabatricum or Otocaris bernensis, with the flowers are reddish purple. It is edible, and also usually we can eat easily. And still we can find easily of the fruit in the usually in the secondary forest. People use this plant or fruit as the treatment for digestive disorders, treatment for dysentery, diarrhea, and also the hepatic disease and menstrual disorders. And actually the fruit also it has possibility to be processed as raw material for the juice or the wine. And the fruit of this plant is showing activity against antibacterial strains, especially so for Bacillus cereus and Salmonella typhi that have pathogenicity for us. For example, you can see that the fruit has ability to inhibit the bacteria by causing inhibition zone, but yeah, it seems lower than the standard antibiotic control, and yeah, it's about 30% activity in comparison to the antibiotic. And this also, the fruit of this species of Rhodophytus tomentosa showed the inhibition zone, and it was about 50% in comparison to the standard antibiotic. From this data, of course, we cannot compare to natural antibiotic, to standard antibiotic, because it already the pure compound of drugs, and it's still the fruit extract that's very rough and interesting to be further investigated. And again, also activity against several several bacterial strains, and also fungus. Again, Propionibacterium magnes and Candida albicans. The fruit also show interesting activity, and that's inform us how we can use the fruit of these plants. And actually, because this plant is widely spread, and sometimes people want to remove the existing of this plant because sometimes they also belong as a weed plant. People want to remove and how about the antioxidant activity of the fruit? Because sometimes they we can see that this is ascorbic acid or standard antioxidant and how about compound vitamin C and several concentration of the fruit extract show interesting activity in comparison to the ascorbic acid. Yeah. And related with the local fruit, the white fruit, actually we have still several challenges. For example, we cannot get benefit from the local, the wild fruit because usually they require long cycle of growth. So when we plant this species, usually we get the fruit after several years. Instead, some of the weed, some of the short edge of the trees. For example, Rhodomyrtus tomentosa, it's really easy to get and it grows very fast, but most of the wild fruit are not like that. And characterization of the wild fruit, usually seasonal fruit, so we can get the fruit only during the season. It means that we have to wait maybe several months or even a year to get another result of the fruits. And based on our literature tracking, the information on potential and distribution is still very limited. It means that we have to collect data, we have to get more information. How many species that still exist? For example, maybe in the nearby forest, maybe some fruit species can be found easily, but some become rare. For example, in one of our regency, one of our part, for example, in Pasir or Penajam Pasir Utara, it's become very difficult to find some white fruits. Even, for example, Kuranji, it's very, very difficult to find now. But I don't know if you have information in the forest that's still in good condition. And another problem, another challenge is the marketing network of the processed product is still limited. Means that in comparison to the cultivated fruits, usually the processed product is very limited and not readily available. So that's why in the term of white fruit, we have several options. For example, identification of the priority fruit species, fruit species based on local potential, source sustainability, efficacy, and specific characterization. And also how to cultivate the selected species. So I know that several species is now become cultivated, but usually very small species in comparison to the wide fruit diversity. And also introduction of simple technology for processing and increasing the added value of fruit-derived products. So from the previous slide, we can see that maybe manggis, one of good species that become developed now, but more species need to be developed and to get the added value for the human consumption. And again, the network for marketing the products, of course. I would like to finish this presentation, this material today, that we have possibility to screen, to collect, to find good resource, plant resource, and so on from forests, and to check their biological activities with several steps that usually we have standard procedure to collect, to identify, and to process the sample in the laboratory. And also how to keep the communication with the local people and the resource person, local healer, and also people in communities that usually they have so many information about the important plants, and also how to use and how to make the preparation of this plant species. And of course, how to connect this information with local community to our students. For example, we can involve our student in every research, and they can learn how to find a good plan, how to communicate with people, and also how to get benefit from the plan. From this photo, we can see that some of our students that successful to use the plan based on information. And also this purposes of the plan. One of the purpose is to rub to our face and to get benefit. I think there's until this time no adverse effect after using this plan, as I know. And also we can consider how to make cheap products and readily available products. And usually for a woman, beauty or skincare products is very needed, and usually in the herbal product is top ranking for women. And from this research activity also, we can find that usually the data is not so easy to get. Also, we have to go to the forest, to explore the forest, to get samples, and also sometimes in the very difficult condition. As the final part of the presentation, let's consider that some product that developed by some countries seems interesting. For example, from the fruits of jojoba. This I think we are famous with this jojoba. One of the commercial products in Korea, and they process the fruits and make good packaging, and also make a good marketing of the product, and several promotion even for the processed product, and also other product from the forest that have benefit for us. For example, this kind of very famous ginseng, and they have so many variety of products that they sell, and they get benefit from this product. I think this also kind of a challenge for us to get more benefit from the forest. And actually, this is not conclusion because we have to still continue the research, the exploration, and also the finding of the benefit from the forest. But the notes of this topic, I try to make in the three parts, three recommendation. For example, our forests actually serve abundant source of potential natural medicine and food. This only small part of the resource. For example, we have not talked about the fungi in the forest, mushroom. We have to talk about another product from the forest, for example, bee honey and other products, and so on. So this is very small product from the forest. But the second recommendation, second notes should be in our consideration. The utilization of the vegetation from the ecosystem must be based on sustainability and possible added value from the source. It's important because sometimes we have intention. We are interested when we collect and sell the plant. It's like cash and carry. But how to get the added value is a challenge. How to get more benefit, because that's a part that usually done by other countries. For example, we can sell our manggis skin, but the other countries can sell the product from the manggis skin. So it's been like we sell the raw material and they get added value. This is very important, so we can get the added value from our resource. And also because the exploration, the finding, the inventory, and also the discovery of more and more beneficial resource from forest, also very important and very big work. So we need to collaborate to make the work, to make the study, to make the research become more effective, and also to get more benefit for human and nature sustainability. So yeah, it is like notes that we have to consider. I'm sure that other recommendation can be obtained from this topic. So I think today that's all that I can share you. Of course, this also not the finished work, but we still have to do many work. And as back to the topic, we can find that from the small part of the small work, we can find that tropical forest promise us the food and medicine source that not only for health, but also for nutrition for us. That's all for my presentation today. And I think my task is offer you the possibility to suggest, to make a critical point, and to ask some question that hopefully I can answer. So that's why, and please you can raise your hand to give your opinion, to give a question, and so on. I will check from the raise hand first. Okay. Okay. From Asaima. Asaima's seems that long time not contact. And from
thank you, Dr. Irawan, for the opportunity. That was a nice presentation from you. I have one question and one suggestion. My first question is, how do you think to enhance our product that can be, how do I say, like, fight maybe, like, because we see that from our neighborhood countries such as Thailand or like South Korea, they already produce some kind of herbal products into like more representative products. So how do you think we can enhance that? And my suggestion is, how do you think about to have work together with the local government to preserve the wild fruit? Because you say that it's difficult now to find the wild fruit, even though like in the local area. So how do you think that we can, if we can work with the government, and then like we made like maybe like some forest that only for the fruits, or we can work together with like company that have area in that local places, and then we work together with them to, you know, like plant the local fruit, and then we work with another university maybe, or researcher to you know, like make biotechnologically things that can enhance the product, that we don't have to wait like for a year to the fruit to grow up, something like that. That's all my suggestion and question. Thank you so much, Dr. Irawan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Devi. Please let me answer first, and after that we can collect again the answer, the question. I mean, yeah, the first one, how to enhance, how to make the more benefit from the research. For example, several plants, so many plants already investigated how to invest, how to make a good benefit from this research. I think that's a very interesting question, and this is what I mean with the collaboration. Collaborative work is very important. For example, in our side, in our position, we can find a good resource plan. We can find so many extracts that have activity, and this will be a good basis for colleagues, for partner from the pharmacists or the medicine, the faculty of medicine, that also can use this the result. For example, from the one plant, that we can focus on that, and we try to explore more about the functional of the plant extract, and to get the product from the result. And the products should be done by colleagues from the pharmacists or the faculty of medicine. And this work already started recent time. So we have good collaboration with several researchers from the faculty of medicine, and also from the several pharmacists in Mulawarman or other universities in Kalimantan, or even not national, also the international. So that's why collaborative is very important, because from the lesson learned from the other country, usually they are focused and to get maybe not so many products, but they proceed with the strong effort to that product. In comparison to to other countries, especially for neighbors. For example, Malaysia has focused on one or two species, and they try to make some derived product. I think that's also a good option. The second one, how to get benefit from wild fruit, and also how to develop the collaboration with several parties, including the local government. Yes, I think this very important suggestion, because The big challenge is how to get the fruits continuously, not as in the season, the fruit season, I mean. So it's important. I don't know, maybe some friend from the silviculture or other fields that usually we can collect from the forest and do several steps to get good seed or good plant. It's mean like if we compare to the one species, for example, durian has luck, good luck, lucky, yeah, has lucky because the people has interested for durian and they try to get more and more good benefit from durian. But other fruits, I think the challenge and the good recommendation how to can collaborate with several parties. Thank you, Devi, for this suggestion. And second question. I will check the chat. Okay. From Bu Elisa, yes. She would like to ask the various type that have been researched, are there any that have been specifically cultivated for medicine, cosmetic, or foods, and whether there are types that have the most potential to be utilized from all parts of the plant. Yeah, maybe not many, but we have one or two species. Actually, this species developed in about 2008 with collaboration with Prof and also our team with the local herbalist. As you can see that maybe one of commercial product already available, and the brand of Tahongai, that's also come from the result from our research in 2008. And after that, yeah, we have to find more products because usually we have handicap how to get safe product, how to get not only good, not only strong activity of the extract, but also safe product for human. That's a very important aspect, very important question. So that's why we are not really fast with the plant selection, but we have several choices that usually if we have information that the plant already consumed in the long time and assumed to be safe, so we can continue the research into the product. And it's yeah, I think several partner of us try to get like to make preparation like gel and also cream and also several products, and we hope that they are succeeded with the result, so we can get collaboration of that. That's for Ibu Elisa. And yeah, the most potential to be utilized from all parts. I still think that the plant that easily available, like Rhodiomeris tomentosa, that not in contrary with the status of the plant, for example, not endangered species, not the critical species, but easily available. I actually prefer to develop the Rhodiomeris tomentosa because all of the part, almost of the part, have good activity. The fruit, the leaf, the twigs, even the root of the plant. I think that's all. And from the Aulia Balkis informed us that she has tried skincare with one of the latest popular skincare, Central Acetica, that common in tropical forest. The product was a blemish cream for acne, and many other brands have been approaching their on version of skincare using central acetate. With the rise of demand of a certain plan, is there any negative impact to the equilibrium information? Okay, so Aulia asked about the issue of the benefit of the plan, and in another part, the conservation issue. Yeah, I should inform you. Example, no, I should apologize that my battery become a 9%. So I really apologize if suddenly loss of the contact. So, but for Aulia Balkis, yeah, Centella asiatica, one of the plant that easily available. It can be grown easily, and it is, I think, no problem with the availability of the plant. So it is interesting. It is good for the product because they use the plant. And yeah, Centella asiatica is very famous, not only for the skin care, but also they have very good stamina, immunostimulant. I mean, so the plant is very good for our health, and the uses of the plant by people is very famous. And as I know that the cultivation of this plant is very easy, but of course the problem is, the question is the quality of the Centella asiatica grown in the wild area or natural available is the same with the cultivated one? It may be another question, but as I know that this plant is really available, not only come from the deep forest, but also the open area. So I think it would be not a big problem for the availability of the plant. But if in comparison to pasak bumi, for example, it would be good problem if we exploit the plant without cultivation. Okay, I think
Prof. Irawan, are you still there? Bapak-bapak, sepertinya Pak Irawan sudah terlempar keluar Zoom ini.
Bu Nani, Pak Irawan barusan terputus koneknya, lagi coba untuk konek lagi.
Waktunya juga sudah ini ya.
Sudah habis aja kah? Atau selesai aja?
Iya, tadi dia sudah bilang juga sih kalau nanti tiba-tiba terputus.
Iya, atau ditutup saja?
Seharusnya beliau yang tutup. Bu Wiwin aja yang tutup ya.
Loh, kok nutup Bu Nani dong, panitia? Kok saya? Bu Nani aja tutup aja, nanti saya kabarin Pak Irawan kalau memang udah selesai. Karena Pak Irawan lagi coba connect lagi tadi. Sekarang lagi posisinya memang lagi mobile, dia lagi di jalan.
Oh, gitu ya. Bapak Ibu mungkin kalau ada pertanyaan bisa disampaikan, tulis saja nanti ya, bisa japri atau chat langsung ke Pak Irawan ya. Ini sudah menunjukkan pukul 11.30, waktunya sudah selesai. Mohon maaf jika ada kekurangan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sorry, Bu Nani.
Wah.
And colleagues and students, I'm sorry that
Recording stopped.
my battery is like I'm
udah.
suddenly stopped.
Ya udah aku close tadi.
Okay.